Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Today, we're going to dive into one of the biggest sources of stress for business owners, and that's taxes. We're going to talk about sales taxes, income tax deductions, and really how to stay ahead of that tax season so that you're not scrambling at the last minute. In Proverbs 21:5, we read, "The plans of the diligent certainly lead to profit. Anyone who is reckless only becomes poor." So planning is key, and that includes tax planning and for all the different types of taxes. So think of this as like gearing up for a big trip. You don't want to wait around until you're lost in the woods to actually check your map, right? You're going to plan ahead and prep ahead. And that's exactly what we're going to do today when we talk about taxes. I'm Jacob Curtis. I'm a CPA certified profit professional and your financial guide. I help business owners like you finally get paid, master your cash flow, and run a business that actually gives you freedom and it's not into the spreadsheets. I started Curtis Accounting Solutions because most business owners, they don't need more data. They just need some direction, right? If inventory, seasonality, and taxes are making your finances feel like a total crapshoot, you're in the right place. So drop a comment, hit the like button, share the video, and let's dive in. Now, sales tax is tricky, especially with e-commerce and other things. If you're selling in multiple states, you may actually owe tax even without a physical location. That's called economic location. So I recommend using tools like TaxJar or Avalara to really automate this to help you know if you have some tax liabilities in different states. So for example, one store we worked with owed sales tax in 11 different states and didn't even realize it. We caught it early, saving them spots and penalties, but you don't want to wing it. Automate your sales tax and stay current. Now you work really hard, so you don't want to overpay the IRS, right? Common deductions for stores include things like trade show fees and travel to those, contract labor, or your home office use. If you use a home office, you qualify for that. And even some of the samples of products and things that you demo for customers are deductible. So one retailer, we helped recover about $18,000 in missed deductions just by recategorizing their expenses and pulling in and auditing some of their trips and things like that. So here's the rule of thumb. If it supports your business, it's probably going to be deductible. But don't guess. You really want to document everything and make sure you check again with your tax preparer, your CPA, to make sure that you can or are allowed to deduct some of those things. Clear deductions come from clean books. And so it's very important that you make sure that your business and personal accounts are not mixed, right? It's time, if they're still mixed, you got to make that change and separate your business from your personal expenses. This is really going to help to make sure that you don't deduct things you shouldn't and you don't miss things that you can deduct. So you want to protect your limited liability by separating out your business and personal transactions. Mixing them can really weaken what's called the corporate veil and basically eliminate or avoid that LLC that you've got set up, that limited liability. And stewardship really means knowing where that money went anyway, not just where it came from. And so you want to use systems like QuickBooks and other bookkeeping software to categorize those transactions every single month, not just once a year during the tax season. Waiting for April is a recipe for stress. Instead, you should be planning and paying quarterly sales taxes. We've got one coming up just around the corner that's due September 15th. So make sure you mark your calendars. The next estimated quarterly tax deadline for the IRS is September 15th. For example, if you made $200,000 in net profit this year, you may owe $40,000 or $50,000 in federal income taxes. But if you've been saving monthly, it's really no big sweat. If you've set up Profit First and are using that system to set aside money for taxes, then you've got that set aside so you can pay that tax on the estimated taxes and you won't have that huge bill as a big surprise coming into the year. And that's something that we would love to help you with, is to set up Profit First. So if that's you, feel free to schedule a call. Now, tax season isn't just one time a year, right? We think it is because that's when we file, but it's actually a series. It's a lot of things that you got to make sure you are in line with, a lot of different deadlines. And it can cost you. There's many due dates for taxes, from sales taxes to income taxes to 1099s to payroll taxes. So what you want to do is make sure you mark your calendar now and use a dashboard to let you know when different deadlines are approaching for which kind of taxes. It's not about just remembering anything and everything. It's about having a system that does remember and reminds you of those different things. So God gave us the tools and we want to use those wisely. Bookkeeping software to categorize your expenses, receipt apps like Dex or others to snap receipts for your bookkeeping, tools like TaxJar and Avalara to help you keep track of your sales tax is going to be key across multiple states. And if you do all of this manually, you're then potentially wasting a lot of time. Using the technology that's available and using different apps as a form of stewardship, it really helps you manage well all of the different things in business. Now, if you're guessing at tax time and you're not planning, you're really gambling. You're rolling the dice, trying to figure out what's going to be best. A client of ours once estimated their own quarterly tax, and by the end of the year, they actually had underpaid their income taxes by $7,000. IRS obviously wasn't impressed, and so they fined them for paying late. But after they had experienced that huge surprise, we implemented Profit First, and they set aside a percentage of that, of the revenue for taxes anymore, eliminating any of the income tax surprises. So again, faithful stewardship isn't about perfection, though. It's about that preparation and that planning part of it. Now, your taxes aren't necessarily a nuisance. You may think they are, but they're actually just part of being a good business owner and being a good steward of the resources. When you plan for taxes proactively, you actually get to keep more. And the reason why is because you avoid penalties and late fees, and you can spot deductions and use those and plan for them. And you make overall better business decisions. With Profit First, we're going to allocate some of that money that comes in from revenue to taxes right away. That's going to sit there in that tax account and be available for when you need it each quarter, and so you can make those payments. It's simple and easy, and it actually leads to financial freedom fairly quickly. Now, don't wait until taxes are actually due. I know I've hit on this a couple times, but this week you're going to check on your sales tax coverage. You're going to review your deductions. You might be missing anything. Check in with your CPA. And we're just over halfway through the year, so now's the time to do that. Open a separate bank account and start saving now for your estimated taxes and for the taxes you may owe at the end of the year. Every step that you take now makes tax season way less stressful and helps you keep more of what you actually earn. So remember that Proverbs verse 21:5, plans the diligent certainly lead to profit. And that is, so let's be diligent and plan well. If you have any questions or need assistance managing your company's finances, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm here to help you really turn inventory chaos into predictable profit and experience real financial freedom. So schedule calls may get started by scanning the QR code on the screen or going to jacobcurtiscpa.com and booking a call. And don't forget to follow me, Jacob Curtis CPA and Curtis Accounting Solutions on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn, and YouTube. Thanks for watching, and talk to you soon.